This video describes the lessons America, European nations can learn from the Oxford High School shooting in Michigan by Ethan Crumbley on November 30th, 2021, which left 4 people dead and 7 injured. Hello, friends. This is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. On November 30th, 2021, 15-year-old Oxford High School sophomore student Ethan Crumbley fired dozens of shots in the halls of his school, killing 4 students and injuring 7 other people. His parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, were arrested on December 4, 2021, after fleeing to evade arrest and were each charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald explained her thought process on why the parents were charged in the shooting. My thought was, well, how did the shooter get access to that weapon? That first question led to a series of facts that just left it completely out of the question that I not charge the mom and dad. It was clear from social media posts that the weapon was bought for him. He had easy access to it. It was not safely secured. He essentially considered it his gun. There were some warning signs here that were ignored. Here are other facts the prosecutors have discovered as reported by NPR, that's National Public Radio. Number one, in months before the shooting, Ethan texted his mother many times about sensing the presence of demons and ghosts in the family home. Number two, Ethan was obsessed with weapons and filled up a notebook with images of guns drawn by him. Number three, he was also obsessed with Nazi propaganda, drew Nazi symbols, and purchased a Nazi coin on the internet. Number four, he filmed himself torturing animals. Number five, the parents bought the handgun that was used in the shooting as a Christmas gift, did not secure it properly, despite the warning signs they had about their son's mental state. Number six, the prosecutor said that Ethan Crumbley had practiced making Molotov cocktails at home and searched school shootings and firearms so often on his phone that he received spam advertisements regarding his mental well being and firearms. Number 7. A day before the shooting, a teacher discovered Ethan for searching for ammunition on his phone and reported the matter to the authorities. On the morning of the shooting, a teacher discovered disturbing drawings and messages on a math worksheet and reported the matter to counselors, which prompted a school guidance counselor to call the parents in for a meeting. The counselor told the parents to seek counseling for their son within 48 hours or Child Protective Services would be informed. At that meeting, the Crumbleys flatly refused to take their son home from school when requested. The parents did not inform the school authorities that they had recently purchased a gun for their son. His backpack was not searched, in which the gun was probably hidden, according to police. About 2 hours after the meeting, Ethan Crumbley began his deadly shooting. Number 8. According to Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald, on the day of the shooting, the Crumleys purchased several new cell phones and withdrew thousands of dollars in cash, including $3,000 from their son's bank account, leaving a balance of less than $1. They began to make arrangements to sell horses and purposefully position their vehicles in order to conceal license plates. Clearly, they had plans to flee. All this evidence indicates that the parents knew about their son's plans about the shooting and, in fact, facilitated it by buying the gun for him. When they were called in to meet the guidance counselor, they knew about the plan to carry out the shooting that very day, knowing that he had the gun with him. That's why they refused to take him home. This indicates that they had encouraged their son to carry out the shooting. In this case, there is no indication that Ethan Crumbley was bullied in school. What then could have been his motivation for carrying out the shooting? The answer is provided by what the prosecutors have revealed. Ethan Crumbley was interested in Nazi propaganda. That clearly points to the Crumbleys being German masqueraders. Then Ethan texted his mom many times that he felt the presence of demons and ghosts when he was alone in the home and heard voices. This clearly points to demons communicating with Ethan. This is a strong indication that Ethan was in fact persuaded by demons to carry out the shooting. The fact that James and Jennifer Crumbley then encouraged Ethan to carry out the shooting by buying the gun for him indicates that they were enthusiastic about what Ethan had been asked to do by the demons. Actions of the Crumbleys can be easily explained when we consider how a person reacts when God communicates with him and knows that God has communicated with him. We have many examples in the Bible, especially of the prophets. When a person receives any communication through an angel, he feels privileged, honored, and special. And indeed, that person is special, as in the case of the prophets in the Bible. That is how German masqueraders react when Satan or the demons communicate with them. They worship Satan as a god. When a demon communicates with a German masquerader, he or she feels privileged and highly honored. They feel it their duty to carry out what the demons have asked them to do, and they do it enthusiastically. Why? Because they have tremendously benefited financially as a nation and individually through much of their history. That's why when a demon asked Ethan Crumbley to carry out the shooting and he shared it with his parents, they felt honored that their son had been considered worthy by a representative of Satan, a demon, to communicate with him and further honor him by asking him to carry out an important task on behalf of German masqueraders and Germans in their bid to dominate and rule the world. A shooting at his school to kill as many people as he could. The parents then enthusiastically went about the necessary preparations to help him carry out the task assigned to him. The question is, why are the German masqueraders willing to carry out assignments that are outright evil, like killing innocent people? The answer lies in the German beliefs about who they are and what the rest of humanity and creation is in comparison to them. I will do a detailed video on German beliefs in the near future, but briefly, this is what they believe. They now openly acknowledge that Satan is their God. They believe they only are a special creation who have the divine spark in them. They are divinities entrapped in a human body which they must escape to go to the realm where they came from. They are the only ones who can escape the human body that entraps the divine or eternal soul in it. The rest of humanity are mere creatures like animals and insects. When they die, that will be the end of their lives. But the Germans will escape their physical body and when they die and attain salvation or eternal life free from the human body, which is available only to them. So they welcome death because without it, their eternal soul will remain entrapped in the body. That's why when Satan or a demon asks them to do something for the common good of the German people, which they believe their destiny is to rule the world, they consider it a privilege and an honor to do so. That's what Ethan Crumbley's parents must have taught him and why they encouraged him to carry out the shooting. Of course, self-preservation, like any creature, makes them hesitate, and some may not follow through on what they've been asked to do by the demons. But their firm belief in their delusion helps many of them to overcome their drive for self-preservation to undertake tasks such as mass shootings. That's also what motivated the Columbine high school shooters Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. That's what worship of Satan turns them into. Evil, cold-blooded killers, like those who have cremated alive 5 to 6 million white Americans of non-German ancestry and medically murdered 3 to 4 million more. They feel no qualms about killing other human beings because they feel all non-Germans have been created like the animals merely to serve Germans, the only ones who have the divine spark in them, meaning they are divinities entrapped in a human body. Just as they feel an animal can be killed without any compunction, so non-Germans can be killed, tortured or taken advantage of without a second thought. That's why the God of the Bible ordered how those who deal or communicate with Satan and the demons, such as wizards and witches, should be dealt with. Talking about Germans in general as a people, God describes them through Nahum the prophet, using Nineveh as the ancient capital as a metaphor in Nahum 3 verses 1 and 19. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departs not. For upon whom has not your wickedness passed continually? God says that lies and robbery and victimizing every nation on earth is the national characteristic of the Germans. God warned ancient Israelites and their modern descendants, the American and British people, through the Bible about how to deal with people who pay heed to and worship Satan and the demons. Deuteronomy 18 verses 9 to 12 state, when you are come into the land which the Lord your God gives you, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of these nations. This means that nations that Israel destroyed were dealing with demons. So God warned the Israelites not to do so. Continuing, there shall not be found among you any one that makes his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, meaning demons, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that who do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord your God does drive them out from before you. Satan and the demons communicate directly with the Germans and German masqueraders. That means they consult with familiar demon spirits. That's why they are an abomination to God. They do an incredible amount of evil because they listen to and obey these demonic spirits. God gave his judgments on those who deal with familiar spirits, which many German masqueraders do, and those who follow or obey such individuals, which almost all Germans and German masqueraders do. God gave his judgment in Leviticus 20, verses 6 and 27. And the soul that turns after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go whoring after them, meaning doing what the demons ask them to do, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. A man also or woman that has a familiar spirit or that is a wizard shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. Exodus 22 verse 18 flatly says, you shall not suffer a witch to live. God in his judgment gave the only good solution to the problem of having people living in your midst whose every thought is only evil continually under Satan's influence, like those in Noah's generation, such as how to steal, murder people, carry out mass shootings. They should be exterminated. Winston Churchill also made an astute observation about the Germans. A Hun alive is a war in prospect. He was talking about Germans living in Germany. You can imagine how much more evil their impact would be if they are living in your very midst. God Almighty of the Bible has given us the only workable solution to dealing with them. They should all be put to death. Thus, the lesson that white nations of North America and Europe need to learn from the mass shooting carried out by Ethan Crumbley, facilitated by his parents, that such people should be exterminated. A nation that has any such people living in its midst will not have peace because we have no idea what evil Satan and the demons may order such people to do, and they will carry it out enthusiastically. There are tens of millions of such people living in the United States and perhaps hundreds of billions of them altogether living in white countries of North America and Europe. God's judgment on such people who live among other people is to exterminate them. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos and read my articles on important world events World War III watch, politics, international business, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels, Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, to view and get information on the latest videos. Some people do not have the time to go through the full length of videos. They find it more convenient to read the text of the video. Unfortunately, YouTube does not provide the facility to make the text of my videos available on YouTube. But fortunately, Facebook does provide that facility. So I make the text of my videos available on my Facebook channel, which you can easily copy.